There's something in your room right now that you bought and never used. Maybe it's still in the packaging. Maybe it's at the back of a drawer. Maybe it's a piece of clothing that still has the tag on it, hanging in a wardrobe that's already full of things you never wear. You remember buying it. You remember wanting it. You might have thought about it for days before you pulled the trigger. You checked the reviews. You compared prices. You waited for the right moment. And then you bought it, and something happened that you never fully explained to yourself. The wanting just stopped. Not because you got what you needed, not because the product disappointed you, but because the second it was yours, your brain moved on, like it was already looking for the next thing. And if you've ever stood in front of a wardrobe full of clothes and felt like you have nothing to wear, that feeling is not about clothes. That feeling is the most honest thing your brain has ever told you. It's telling you that buying things has never actually been about the things. It's about something else entirely. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Let's start with a feeling you know. You're scrolling. It's late. You're not even looking for anything specific. And then something catches your eye. A product, a video, an ad that doesn't look like an ad. And something shifts inside you. A small pull, a quiet excitement. You click, you read, you look at the pictures, you check the price, and the pull gets stronger. You don't buy it yet. Maybe you add it to your cart and leave it there. And here's the strange thing. That feeling, right there, in that moment of almost buying it, that might be the best the whole experience ever feels. Because the moment you actually buy it, something changes. The excitement starts to drop. By the time it arrives, you're already somewhere else mentally. You open the package and there's a brief flash of satisfaction. And then it's just a thing. Just another object in a room full of objects. This isn't a personal failure. This is one of the most consistent, measurable, documented patterns in human psychology. And it has a name. Neuroscientist Read Montague at Virginia Tech put people inside brain scanners and tracked exactly what happened in their brains in the moments before and after receiving a reward. What he found was that the brain releases dopamine, the chemical that drives motivation, pleasure, and desire, more powerfully in the moment of anticipation than in the moment of actually getting the thing. The peak of the experience isn't the reward. The peak is the wanting. Read that again slowly. The wanting feels better than the having, which means that every time you buy something, you're not buying the product. You're buying a feeling, the feeling of the open tab, the full cart, the tracking number updating, the package at the door. That is the high. And the moment it's over, the high drops. And your brain, doing exactly what it was designed to do, immediately starts scanning for the next thing to want. This is not weakness. This is not stupidity. This is your reward system functioning perfectly. The problem is that your reward system was built for a completely different world. A world where getting what you wanted took time, effort, and real scarcity. The delay between wanting something and having it used to be days, weeks, months, sometimes years. That delay was where the meaning lived, where the effort happened, where the satisfaction actually came from. Now the delay is 2 days. Sometimes 2 hours, sometimes 30 seconds. And here's where it gets darker. An entire industry figured this out before you did, and they built their entire business model around it. Every element of how products are sold to you online was designed by people who understand your dopamine system better than you do. The countdown timer on the checkout page, fake in almost every case, but your brain can't tell the difference. The only 3 left in stock label, a design decision, not an inventory report. The price that ends in 0.99 instead of a round number. A trick so old and so effective that retailers still use it 100 years after it was invented because it still works every single time. Researcher Robert Cialdini at Arizona State University spent years identifying the exact psychological triggers that companies use to bypass your conscious decision-making. Scarcity, social proof, urgency, authority, reciprocity. Every single one of these is embedded into the architecture of every store, every checkout page, every product listing you've ever seen. They're not decorations, they're levers. Designed to activate System 1, the fast, automatic, emotional part of your brain, before System 2, the slow, rational part, even has time to ask, do I actually need this? By the time you're thinking clearly, the purchase is already made. But there's something even bigger happening underneath all of this. something that goes beyond individual products. Social media didn't just change how you communicate, it changed how you want. Platforms like Instagram and TikTok are not just places where you see products, they are machines that manufacture desire at scale. Every time you see someone with something you don't have, a lifestyle, a room, a body, a trip, a product, your brain registers a gap, a distance between where you are and where they are. And that gap activates the same wanting signal, the same dopamine pull. You're not scrolling through content. You're being fed a continuous stream of carefully curated evidence that your life is missing something, and the solution is always one click away. TikTok Shop in particular has turned this into a science. Videos that don't look like ads, products that appear organically in content you already love, a checkout process so seamless you barely notice it happening. The entire funnel from desire to purchase compressed into under 60 seconds. Your brain never had a chance. Now here's the part that changes how you see everything. Researcher Leif Van Boven at the University of Colorado spent years studying what actually makes people happy after they spend money. And the data is brutal and consistent. Material purchases, objects, products, things, almost always deliver less happiness than people expected when they bought them. Not because the products are bad, but because of something called hedonic adaptation. Your brain adapts to everything you own. The new phone becomes just the phone within weeks. The new jacket becomes just the jacket. The excitement flattens. What felt special becomes invisible. And the happiness you were chasing moves somewhere else, to the next product, the next upgrade, the next version. But experiences, things you do, places you go, moments you have, adapt differently. They live in memory. And memory is not a recording. Memory is an editor. It compresses the boring parts and keeps the meaningful ones. The trip you took 2 years ago feels better now than it did in the moment. The dinner with people you love grows in value over time. The thing you bought that same year is already forgotten. So your brain is chasing a happiness that consistently arrives somewhere other than where you're looking for it, in a world that is designed at every level to keep you looking in the wrong place. Here's what this means for you personally. The next time you feel the pull, the tab already open, the cart already full, the timer already counting down, there is one thing you can do that costs nothing and changes everything. Wait 24 hours, not because you shouldn't buy things, not because spending money is wrong, but because the wanting and the buying feel identical in the moment, and 24 hours gives them room to separate. If you still want it the next day, with the same intensity, with no countdown timer in sight, it might actually be something you value. But if the pull is gone, that's the dopamine talking. That's the machine working exactly as designed. There's something in your room right now that you bought and never used. You know what it is. You might even be able to picture it. That object is not a mistake. It's a receipt, proof of something your brain was searching for that the product was never going to deliver. The good news is that now you know what you were actually looking for, and it was never in the packaging.